The secret to a thriving garden isn't sealed in a bottle of store-bought fertilizer. It's been with us all along, hidden in ancient traditions and crafted from the simplest of ingredients. For thousands of years, farmers fed the land with living brews that cost nothing, yet carried the power to renew entire fields. They understood a truth modern agriculture often overlooks, that soil itself is alive and it must be nourished. Today, on Stellar Eureka, we're uncovering the world's most remarkable liquid fertilizers. Time-tested concoctions that supercharge growth, enrich the earth, and reveal nature's genius. These are liquid legacies, perfected across centuries, capable of turning any garden into a flourishing sanctuary. And just wait until you discover the fertilizer once gathered from the very battlefields of Europe. Let's step into the forgotten world of liquid gold. Long before Europeans set foot in North America, indigenous farmers had already perfected one of the most elegant farming systems in history, known as the Three Sisters. Corn, beans, and squash were planted together in harmony. Corn gave the beans a ladder to climb, beans enriched the soil with nitrogen, and squash spread broad leaves that shaded the ground, locking in moisture and suppressing weeds. But there was a hidden fourth sister, one that made the entire system thrive: a fish. Buried alongside the seeds, it slowly decomposed, releasing nitrogen, phosphorus, and minerals that fueled the corn through the season. This ancient wisdom is the ancestor of today's fish emulsions and hydrolysates. A modern gardener can recreate it simply by fermenting fish scraps in water for a few weeks. The result is a pungent brew that may test your nose, but it sends leafy greens into overdrive and revitalizes the soil beneath them. The practice still lives on. The Oneida Nation, rooted in New York and Wisconsin, continues to grow their heirloom white corn with the same traditional knowledge, honoring the cycle of water, land, and sustenance. And this idea was not confined to North America. From Asia to the Pacific, coastal communities across the world learned that the bounty of the sea could feed the earth. For thousands of years, coastal farmers from Ireland to Japan relied on the ocean's gifts to enrich their fields. After storms, they gathered seaweed washed ashore and spread it over the soil, marveling at how crops grew sturdier and more resilient than ever before. Today, we know the reason. Seaweed carries more than 60 minerals and trace elements, a diversity unmatched by most modern fertilizers. Yet its real secret lies in its natural growth hormones, especially cytokinins, which spark vigorous cell division. When steeped in water to create a tea, these compounds become a potent biostimulant. Seeds soaked in it sprout faster, leaves sprayed with it resist pests and frost, and roots expand deeper into the soil. Brewing it is simple: a bucket of water, a bundle of rinsed seaweed, and a few weeks of patience yield a dark liquid that nourishes everything from fragile seedlings to fruit-laden tomato vines. While the ocean provides this incredible resource, some of the most powerful plant foods are found far from the coast, growing in fields and meadows, often dismissed as common weeds. Known in folklore as Knitbone, comfrey has a long history as a healer of people. Ancient Greek physicians, Dioscorides, and Pliny wrote about its powers nearly 2 millennia ago. In the garden, it lives up to that same reputation, not for bones, but for the soil itself. Comfrey sends a massive taproot up to 10 feet deep, mining minerals that most plants can never touch: calcium, magnesium, potassium, and it brings them to the surface and locks them in its broad, hairy leaves. For this reason, gardeners call it a dynamic accumulator, a plant that turns hidden resources into accessible riches. When these leaves are steeped in water, they release a dark, pungent liquid loaded with potassium, the essential nutrient for flowers and fruit. A small patch of comfrey can supply enough liquid fertilizer to keep tomatoes, peppers, and cucumbers thriving for an entire season. It is a plant that gives generously year after year, if allowed a corner of the garden. But generosity comes in many forms, and the next plant proves that even a notorious sting can be transformed into strength. The stinging nettle has a fearsome reputation. Anyone who has accidentally brushed against its leaves knows the sharp, burning sensation from its tiny hypodermic needles. Roman soldiers stationed in the cold, damp climate of Britain reportedly used this sting to their advantage. They practiced urtication, deliberately flogging themselves with nettles to stimulate circulation and relieve the pain of arthritis and rheumatism. But beyond its sting, the nettle is one of the most nutritious plants on the planet. Nettles are incredibly rich in nitrogen, iron, magnesium, and calcium. We've even featured this resilient plant in our video, 15 Radiation-Resistant Plants, for its ability to thrive in tough conditions. That same hardiness translates into a potent fertilizer. When fermented in a bucket of water, stinging nettles create a dark green liquid fertilizer that acts as a powerful spring tonic for the garden. The high nitrogen content fuels lush, leafy growth, making it ideal for cabbages, lettuce, and young plants needing a strong start. Many organic gardeners also use nettle tea as a foliar spray. Beyond feeding the leaves, it seems to help plants resist aphids and fungal diseases, turning a weed once dreaded into an ally worth cultivating. Roots are one thing, but what if a twig could spark life in cuttings thought impossible to grow? Gardeners noticed long ago that willow cuttings placed in water sprouted roots with astonishing ease. But the real revelation came when that same water was poured on other, harder-to-root cuttings. They too began to grow. The willow, it turned out, produces powerful natural compounds that unlike new life. Its secret lies in two chemicals. The first is indole-3-butyric acid, or IBA, a rooting hormone still used in modern propagation powders. The second is salicylic acid, the natural precursor to aspirin. In plants, it acts as a defense activator, strengthening cuttings against bacteria and fungi. Making willow water is as simple as soaking freshly cut twigs in water for a day or two. The resulting liquid can be used to soak cuttings before planting or to water stressed plants, giving them resilience to thrive. But not all fertilizers come from living plants. Some were born from desperation and led farmers to the most unlikely of sources. In the 19th century, before the invention of synthetic fertilizers, farmers were desperate for phosphorus. This essential nutrient is the key to strong root development, vibrant flowers, and heavy fruit, but it was incredibly scarce. This desperation fueled a booming and grisly international trade, the bone trade. Entrepreneurs and scavengers fanned out across the globe, collecting animal bones wherever they could be found. They dug up ancient catacombs in Egypt and stripped the American plains of the skeletons of millions of slaughtered buffalo. More disturbingly, they turned to the great battlefields of Europe. The sites of Napoleon's famous battles, like Waterloo and Austerlitz, became quarries. Cartloads of human and horse bones were shipped to England, ground into a fine powder, and sold to farmers as bone meal. While the practice was grim, the science was sound. Bones are a concentrated source of phosphorus and calcium. When steeped in water or vinegar to make a liquid tea, these nutrients become available to plants much more quickly. Bone meal tea is still used today by organic gardeners to promote huge blooms on their roses and to prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes. While our ancestors resorted to digging up tombs and battlefields for this precious resource, today's gardeners are lucky to have a much easier and less macabre supply from safer, sustainable sources, especially to prevent blossom end rot in tomatoes and to coax roses into heavy bloom. But farmers have always relied on a much fresher and more immediate gift from their livestock to enrich the soil. Wherever humans have kept animals, they've recognized the value of manure. Farmers saw grass grow greener where cattle grazed, and they learned to save and age manure to enrich their fields. Turning it into a liquid made it gentler, more versatile, and easier to apply even to delicate plants. The process is straightforward. A sack of well-aged manure is steeped in water like an oversized tea bag, slowly releasing soluble nutrients. The The result is a mild, earthy liquid rich in nitrogen and teeming with beneficial microbes. More than just feeding plants, Manure Tea feeds the soil itself. Microbes from the brew improve structure, break down organic matter, and unlock nutrients already present. It's a living cycle, one that mirrors the natural rhythms of pastures and forests. This same principle of unlocking hidden value applies not just to the gifts of the farm, but to the simple scraps from our own kitchen, where the peel of a common fruit holds its own potent secret for the garden. The journey of the humble banana peel from kitchen trash to garden treasure is a story of clever resourcefulness. For centuries, farmers in the Caribbean and Central America, where bananas grew in abundance, have intuitively understood the value of this waste. They incorporated banana leaves, stalks, and peels back into the soil, recognizing their power to boost the health of subsequent crops. This ancient wisdom, echoed in Mayan agricultural texts that mention using fruit waste as fertilizer, has now been validated by modern science. A banana peel is a powerhouse of potassium, the essential nutrient that regulates a plant's water usage and plays a vital role in producing flowers and fruit. When you simply soak a few banana peels in a jar of water for a week, that potassium leaches out, creating a free and potent liquid fertilizer. This brew is perfect for encouraging bigger, more vibrant blooms on roses and orchids, and for helping tomatoes and peppers set more fruit. In an age where a commercial bag of potassium fertilizer can be costly, this simple tea made from a kitchen scrap is a brilliant act of ingenuity, proving that potent garden remedies are often hiding where we least expect them, including inside another common item destined for the compost bin. What can you do with an empty eggshell? For most, the answer is to throw it away. But for medieval monks and Roman farmers, it was the start of a recipe for a healthier garden. Ancient agricultural writers like Columella documented the practice of amending soil with crushed shells to improve crops. Centuries later, in European monasteries, gardeners developed more sophisticated preparations, discovering that the shell's true power could be unlocked with a simple acid. Eggshells are made almost entirely of calcium carbonate, a vital nutrient for plant health. However, in its solid form, it can take years to break down in the soil. But when you add crushed eggshells to a jar of ordinary white vinegar, a chemical transformation occurs. The acetic acid in the vinegar dissolves the shells, converting the unavailable calcium carbonate into liquid calcium acetate, a form that plants can absorb almost instantly. This extract is a powerful tool for preventing blossom end rot in tomatoes and peppers, a common problem caused by calcium deficiency. During the scarcity of World War I, civilians were even encouraged to collect eggshells, not just for gardens, but as a crucial source of calcium, showing how even the most fragile materials can be transformed into a source of strength when the alchemy is right, a principle that holds true even in the aftermath of a fire. Before the age of chemical fertilizers, the primary source of potassium for farmers came directly from the forest. Pioneer homesteaders and colonial farmers understood that wood ash was a precious resource, often called black salt. Every last bit was saved from the hearth. They knew that leaching water through these ashes created lye for making soap, but they also knew that a diluted version of this same liquid was a fast-acting fertilizer that could invigorate their crops. This knowledge was shared by many cultures. Some Native American farming traditions, including the Three Sisters, incorporated ash into the soil to boost fertility. Wood ash is the concentrated mineral content of the tree it came from. It is rich in potassium, or potash, along with calcium and dozens of other trace elements. When carefully diluted in water, it creates an alkaline liquid that provides an immediate boost of potassium to fruiting plants like squash, beans, and potatoes. This is especially beneficial in acidic soils as the ash helps to raise the pH, making other nutrients in the soil more available to the plants. It's a perfect closing of the loop. A tree draws minerals from the earth and through fire, those same minerals are returned to nourish the next generation of crops. From the gifts of the sea to the bones of the earth, these living liquids prove that nature has always provided what gardens need. They connect us to the wisdom of generations who learned to work with cycles of life instead of against them. By brewing these simple tonics, we do more than feed plants. We nourish the soil, honor tradition, and rediscover knowledge that once sustained entire civilizations. Which of these ancient brews will you try first? Fish, nettle, or bone? Let us know in the comments below, and let's grow together. This is Stellar Eureka, signing off.